Waiting for the last keynote speaker. It's 11:30. It's probably going to be a short one. The bus is going to leave here in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and stand as we welcome Coach Bill Patteson to the stage.
What time is it, Bernie? Yeah.
Showtime.
His watch must not be working. Well, I'm going to have to cut things short here a little bit. You've taken my material, and everybody's telling tales just a little bit different. But let me hit the high spots, and we'll get out of here. We've had a good night, and we want to end it up in the right way. Okay, here we go. Hey, your tribute to Coach Bill Patteson has indeed been a great honor. I do not have the words to adequately express how overcome I am with the events in this program. We want to thank you for being here tonight. This is a great crowd. Did you get a number?
Close to 600.
Close to 600. A tremendous effort. I'm pleased to welcome the former athletes that came tonight and participated in this program. We appreciate the effort to getting here, which we know is very hard. Thanks to the gentleman that spoke tonight and made some tales, talked about some different tales, and I don't remember about half of them. and I'll rebate the other half. Coach Patteson's philosophy of winning could be in any sport. Just two or three different things. Number one, support of the administration. It means that you're going to get some help to give you coaches, getting out on time, the administration from the superintendent on down to the principal. You've got to have that, no question. All right, support of the Greenway fans and parents. We've always had that. That's a given. So that helps us a whole lot. Must be in condition. In other words, we talk about these two-a-days. I've had some players that said, hey, I don't know what you can make it not. Hey, it's tough on me too. And I'd go home and rest to be able to get back. But you got to have that. You got to be a conditioned football team. All right? Work hard and outwork your opponent. Doesn't take a whole lot of talent, does it? Just takes a little bit of grit in your crawl. That road showed up again. Okay. Other things along in this line is don't beat yourself. In other words, keep your mistakes to a minimum. You never know when one will beat you. Now, talking about working hard and your opponents, little things can stop a drive. Don't beat yourself. Keep that drive going by be sure that you don't make mistakes. We run a finish drill. Most everybody played in the last few years, and we think that drill was awfully good because we line up on the 40-yard line at the end of practice. We're going to leave practice on a high note. And what we did, everybody in that huddle had to be just right. You had to have your feet pointed down the field. You had to have that head up. Everything had to be perfect. If you didn't, what happened? Run it again. Run it again. Only penalize them 10 yards down the field. So that instead of 4, they got 50. And if you're going to keep making mistakes, you're going to run a little bit more. What is the definition of success? It's a peace of mind which is a direct result of self-satisfaction that you did the best you're capable of doing. And don't want you to do any more. They talk about this 110 stuff. 110 stuff's good. But if you give us 120, give us 120. If you got it. All right. Knowing that you did the best to become the best that you're capable of becoming. All right. Be the best you can be. Don't be afraid to fail. Tiki Barber, University of Virginia, made that quote, very active. And he wasn't very big, but he was pretty good running back, wasn't he? Okay, commitment. Another definition. Total commitment. If you're going to do something, if be a gangster, be a good one. Be a good one. And by the way, they say my name's Wild Bill. Well, I'm going to if I get that track pistol with some blanks in it and come in here and fire it, we'd clean this place out. I was going to do that in practice one time, but I didn't do it. Okay. All right, confidence comes from being prepared. Approval is a great motivator. These things that you see a lot of coaches give them out, they mean something. All right? If you can't make a total commitment to whatever you're doing, then you start to bail out on the first time the boat starts leaking. If it's tough enough to beat you to the shore anyway, let alone a guy stand up and starts putting his life preserver on. He's wanting out of there. All right, I'd like to make a comment to my family. I'd like to take this moment to thank you for the support of all these years in coaching, as well as Jane and Judy and Brian. My wife can cook a pretty good hamburger about 12:30 at night. And of course, the thing about it, I never get hungry over here, or didn't. But if I get home, it's not ready. I'm hungry as a wolf. I cannot even guess the number of hamburgers she's fixed at midnight after road to games. We raised her family in the back of a station wagon going to and from the games because my whole family was involved. A number of times I've thought maybe I should give up this coaching and be more of a family man. But with my wife being a cheerleading sponsor and my two girls cheerleaders, and Brian helped us. He played basketball and baseball. And then he answers to Clarence Biggs on what's going on in the dressing room. That tickled Clarence to death. Now I have the pleasure of watching my grandchildren play, particularly in some of the sports. And that's good. All right, Green Wave fans. Green Wave fans were always good to the Patteson family. One Saturday morning, we heard a knock at the door, and Bob Whitehead presented us with the First Color TV, a gift from the fans. Later, Ann and I received a trip for a week to New Orleans and to the Sugar Bowl game. A couple of years after that, the fans sent the entire team, coaches, and their wives to Disney World, SeaWorld, and Six Flags over Georgia. And Coach Donnie Jackson made that trip. We took a station wagon in case anybody got sick, and we had a good time. It was unreal. We cannot say enough nice things about the Green Wave fans. They've been great. That's a pretty hard trip in a bus, and not staying over, but it's pretty hard. Okay, here's some tall tales. Charlie Johnson's ankle when we played Pulaski. I can put a little bit more into this than what he did. He had a full ride at the University of Virginia. Never did play because he stayed hurt. Arm, whatever. But he was pretty tough in there on the high school level. But anyway, Charlie sprained an ankle on Thursday. And big game with Pulaski coming up. And like Tony said, he put ice on it, and then it went higher. And he came out and asked me, and I said, take it on up, take it a little higher. And we did that, and I said, Charlie, now you go home and keep ice and elevate this ankle, and you can play tomorrow night if you can stand the pain. Now, most kids react pretty well to that. So we went to Pulaski, and we warmed him. I taped it just like a cast on it, and I felt like that he could probably play. And I said, well, you warm up and see how it goes. And he did. He warmed up, and he came over and said, Coach, I can't go. I said, okay, it's fine. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. All right, we played about 10 minutes. No, we played about 5 minutes. We was down 10. So I get up. I go down the line. I said, Charlie, get off your hind end and get in the ball game. He did exactly that. It took him a couple times to go up and down the floor. Played the best ball game he ever played. We came back and won. So if you can stand the pain, you can be all right. Okay. All right. Technical foul on the bench. Tony just outquicked me. That's all he did. He just outquicked me. Because we were sitting just like this, and we reacted to it, but he just got out there quicker than I did. But like you say, a veteran coach, I got a break. Sweet revenge at Radford. We knocked Radford out of the playoffs, and then it was pouring down raining. And Rusty, hey, what's wrong with 22 Billy? I'm telling you. Until they stop it, it's nothing wrong with it. And then you'll go somewhere else. I like the screen passes. Always have. Playing Radford, first or second play, they were going to go for the bomb. We found that out a number of times. But anyway, we put a good defensive back. It was this Evans boy that we had was a tremendous athlete, quick, could jump, super athlete. And on the first or second play, I don't remember that technicality, but anyway, they threw the ball and they caught it on about the 50-yard line, went all the way. Our 7-0, just right at the beginning of the game. So then we come back, we kick off to us. You remember this, Rusty? We went off tackle on 22 Billy, and he fumbled the ball. I said, really, what's going on here? And then before the game, they put the score on the scoreboard from the year before. And then the minister prayed before the game, and some guy said, yeah, kill them all. and you know, when you're playing a game, I said, we're in trouble. So we fumbled on that play, and I took Rusty out, and I looked at him, and that face mask was true. It was screwed around there just like the chocolate had melted. So I said, now we're going to have to settle down here. And I was a little sky high, I guess, early in the game. But we settled down, came on back, and we won, I think, 20-7, something like that. But that was a good win for us, too. All right, Bob Burton, outstanding on defense, said, as long as we get the basket, it doesn't matter. And, you know, it's a lot to that. Sometimes we have a tendency to overcoach. And if you put it in the hole, we use that Cincinnati offense, swing gate. Big old Charlie had a big tail, and it worked very well. All right. Mike Burton. He's the best linebacker from the safety position that I've ever coached. All right, you've already mentioned the tournament of VPI when we was in our two pattern, which is only one good guard ball handler, and we was behind 5 points, 12 seconds, something like that, wasn't it, Steve? You remember? We was head, right. And they literally tackled him out of bounds, throwing the ball in bounds, and no foul was called. And I can remember Coach came down. You never saw Coach very upset, but he was awful upset about that because it was a steal. They just grabbed your pants and everything else. But Jerry Claiborne came in our dressing room down there, and he says, Bill, I want to congratulate you. Said the poise that you kids kept was tremendous in a situation like that, because it was a big crowds at tournament play, and it was a dogfight. And we got beat on that one. But that's a tournament at VPI. It was a lot of fun playing over there. Berman asked me to say something about this fund, is if you get some extra money, we need to help our high school as much as we can for uniforms and whatever. And this is going to be a good start and to support this endeavor, and so that we can keep the green and gold nice. Lay it on that bench and crease, no wrinkles in it. That makes you get a little higher on your heel and a little bit more pride. You got to bust somebody. That's it. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've got one more thing to do here. I left it to last. Just.
I'm going to read the whole thing.
Okay, read the whole thing.
It says, Dear Coach Patteson, I was unable to attend the dedication of the gym in your name, so I wanted to write and congratulate you on a well-deserved honor. Your dedication and hard work over the years has certainly had a positive influence on a great number of people. I feel fortunate to have been coached by someone who expected and then demanded the best that each player possessed. I greatly appreciate the help that you gave me in my early years of coaching. As a more experienced coach now, I still practice a coaching style from the, quote, old school, unquote, that was ingrained in me during my youth. I firmly believe that discipline, repetition, and intensity mixed with emotion and a winning attitude bring out the best in a team. I learned these things from two of the best, you and my dad, sincerely, and I signed my name on it.
That's good stuff right there.
That is. Thank you.
I think that already. I'll continue to keep it. Thank you. All right.